lepers now. You know, we have to go, people, do you guys take baths? Can you take showers? Yeah, we can. At caution. Why at caution? Because our government didn't care. And they still don't. And it hasn't went anywhere, and it's time now.
Flint. Remember Flint? What's going on with the water? Turns out, not much.
I stopped paying my bill. I haven't used the water. You know what I mean? You can't use it for anything. What can you use it for? Even showering in it, you start itching, you dry up. So what good is it to you?
Governor, you just became aware of this, everyone else?
It's been more than 250 days since Governor Snyder admitted that Flint had been lead poisoned through its water pipes after his appointed emergency managers decided to switch the city's water source to the contaminated Flint River in order to save some money. So far,
what the hell's going on in Flint? When are we gonna get something done?
Well, things are getting done, Charlie. Again, there's a process.
List them.
Yeah, in terms of things getting done?
Yeah.
Again, there's been a lot of fixture replacements in the schools. We're seeing improvement there. In terms of additional phosphates in the water lines are being recoated. There have been pilot lines taken out. There's been 2-3 dozen lines already coming out.
Yep, a couple dozen pipes. And wait, it gets worse. Now Flint doesn't know where its long-term water source will come from or its permanent backup water source. And whatever it turns out to be, it's going to cost us at least another $35 to $70 million. And according to the state, that could be as much as 2.5 years away.
And there is a lot of discussion about the overall system. The starting point for those discussions is really with the city.
The city's in charge or the state's in charge?
The city's in charge of their water system.
The city's in charge.
Yeah, again, with support from the
So
state.
we followed the accusing tip of the governor's finger to Flint City Hall. Mayor Karen Weaver's signature is required to continue the funding of Flint's new water system, known as the KWA. But she's stalling, and she's not explaining why. Instead, Mayor Weaver held a press conference to insist she's not guilty of accusations that she embezzled water donations.
And this will be my last comment, but it's interesting to me that my ethics were in question.
So that's your update. Flint's a mess. Now this brings us back to the still unanswered question. Who decided to make the switch to the Flint River in the first place? Some quick background here. How would Flint pay to link up to a new $300 million water system when the city was broke and under state-appointed emergency management? Well, here's part of the answer. Flint switched from the more expensive Detroit water to the cheaper Flint River water, but charged the citizens the same price for the water. Now, the difference in price was funneled back into upgrading Flint's water treatment plant and infrastructure in preparation for the new KWA. There's just one problem here. The necessary upgrades weren't made to the plant, and the people were served water not fit for a pig.
Freaking ridiculous.
Hey, how are you?
Dayne Walling was the powerless mayor at the time of the switch, but he was also chairman of the board of the new water authority, and he was put in charge of the water plant by the emergency manager, and he was the guy who switched off to Detroit water.
You were intimately aware of what was going on. You were in charge of the water plant. You want to take responsibility.
Well, it's important that, and I ran for re-election when this water crisis began. So everyone in this community had a chance to ask me questions, to know exactly where I stood. The reality was that Flint was under a state-appointed emergency manager for 4 years. I didn't make a personnel action. I didn't make one purchasing decision. So it's not fair to blame me or the city council or the community for what was done by the governor, the emergency managers, the State Department of Environmental Quality.
So we followed the former mayor's accusing finger to the then emergency manager Ed Kurtz's house. Kurtz is a former president of a commuter college who signed off on the Flint water switch. When he saw us, he closed the garage and front door.
Ed, the window's open. I know you're in there.
Ed, I need to know why you made a decision that ended up poisoning 100,000 people. Ed, who advised you to do this? Did you come up with this on your own, Ed? That's an important question. Who told you to do it? And I wonder if they're gonna raise his taxes. No, they're gonna raise our taxes for his decisions. Using the Flint River as the primary drinking water source. Signed, Ed Kurtz.
This is what we get. Thanks, Flint. Appreciate you.